This is the CEO and co-founder of 101 Card Shop. How you doing?
Doing good, you? I've got a personalized helmet from Jim Brown. Wow. Personalized helmet from Bernie Kosar and Kevin Mack. Cardell Jones, Dimitri Felton, Tristan Thompson. Hiring people to work for you that are very passionate about sports, but not sports cards, are the best workers ever.
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to 101 Sports Cards. So we're obviously gonna film a tour at 101, but we're hosting a huge trade night tonight. So you know we gotta bring donuts.
Okay.
101, baby. All the way from California to Strongsville, Ohio. What's going on, everybody? Jay, your AK Mojo Sports. We're here at Strongsville, Ohio at 101 Card Shop. I'm here with Steve.
Yes, sir.
My man.
How are you?
Glad to be here.
Glad you're here.
And you've been open for 3 years?
Yep, 3 years in November.
3 years in November.
Yes, sir.
All right, we are gonna give you guys a tour of the shop. It is huge in here. The selection's amazing, but the passion is unmatched. The energy here is insane. And Steve's got a lot to share. He's got a great hobby experience. He's got an amazing team. And I just can't wait for you guys to see this video. Drop a like, leave a comment, and go follow them on Instagram. They're doing breaks, they're on Whatnot, and we'll show you guys a tour. Let's do this. All right, you guys, so this is the Man Cave Break Studio
Ping
pong
area.
Quit your job,
Yes.
you quit your job, and you quit your job to do sports cards.
Yes, we did. So I worked for a Fortune 500 accounting firm from 2013 to 2017. And I interned with them when I was in college, so about 9 years. You learn pretty quick that in the Fortune 500 world, you're just a number. So I would rather be number one. So I quit that after like 8 years, and I just decided to do my own thing.
I moved down from Cleveland to Columbus in 2010. I ran a gym, Fitness 19, and I did that from 2008 to 20, and then this guy offered me to come on full time. I said ship it, and we got going.
You
did
said ship it.
consignments, we did subs, we did breaking, and then I just kind of took over into the full-time breaker. So it's great.
All right, and you?
Mine was pretty simple. I worked at FedEx for a couple years.
He was our delivery driver.
He
was our delivery driver.
I was his delivery driver, but he told me, no joke. He called me one day, and I was heading to softball. He out of nowhere goes, "Hey, by any chance, do you want to quit FedEx?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "Well, do you want to quit breaking your back every day?" I go, "That'd be awesome." He goes, "Well, cool. You're coming to work for me tomorrow."
This right here is A1. As soon as we walk in every morning, it's ping pong. And generally, we play about 6 games before we start working, and I lose 6 of 6 times.
Okay, cool.
You come through here, and here is the Brave Studio. We actually just made this, I would say, about a year ago. A really nice plant in the back. You have to have
Bed Bath & Beyond, or
Yes.
was that, do you have time?
Yes.
The jerry rig stand that we have in the background looks real nice.
It looks beautiful.
You know, I mean, they're only this side.
I feel like
fully
when you're
covered.
watching this on, like when I'm on Instagram or Whatnot, like I guess I don't see all this. Like there's a lot going on in the background
There is
here.
a lot going on in the background for sure. And then March Madness was probably the funnest time we've had breaking here. We had games going
Every single game
24/7.
Right there?
Yeah. 5 days a week here, and then I break from my home studio twice a week.
Well, when we're on Whatnot, that thing's blaring music.
Oh yeah. We're
You're
blaring
blending.
music.
And what kind of music are we busting when we're on
I'm a
Whatnot?
2000s hip hop type of guy.
You guys got on Whatnot. What made you kind
Correct.
of get on Whatnot?
So what made us get on Whatnot, honestly, is just how much product we just receive every single week. We receive so much product. There's just no other place to move it other than Instagram, and having Whatnot was another great separate place to move this stuff. So hit up Nick, asked him if he wanted to transition from Instagram over to Whatnot to do more Whatnot stuff. He was definitely a little nervous.
Change is good though, man.
Yeah.
I take it and just run with it. So
Yeah.
it's been about 7-8 months now.
The other night, well, it was Step Brothers, like all night the other night.
Step Brothers,
Dumb and Dumber quotes all night the
And you
other
guys
night.
are just reading the quotes?
Oh, I'm the quote
He knows
guy.
that he's
I'm
the
the
quote
quote
guy.
All right, quote. Give me a quote from Step Brothers or something.
From Step
Anything.
Brothers?
Telling me
Did you touch my drum
chance.
set? Did you touch my drum set?
Bury me alive?
I was watching Cops. It's 4 o'clock. I know it's not. I know it wasn't Cops. Is it 4 o'clock? That's not on.
Look at all these boxes. Jeez.
Yep, that's product ripped. That's within the last week, I'd say. Week and a half of all product ripped. So
All those boxes.
yeah, we have. You can see it now. We've got breaks on every half of the table. So break here, here, 2 breaks over there, all breaks here, and just sorting. And you can see envelopes. What we try to do on Instagram, what we can't do on Whatnot, is just combine shipping as much as we can. Can't do that on Whatnot. Every break for Whatnot has to get shipped in their own package, in their own envelope, right, Nick? Every single one of them.
Football, basketball, and baseball. Every team name is on it. So
Yep.
30 teams for baseball, 30 teams for basketball, 32 for the NFL. You put them in order. We just go alphabetically.
Is that what this is right here?
Yeah, so that's
those
so
are
baseball
already
right there.
sorted.
So that's by team. We usually, when we're done breaking, we put them either in a 2-row. We put them in these plastic bins.
There
We
you go,
take
look.
them out.
Like, what is
after.
all this?
So this is tribute.
tribute.
This is case 1.
How, like, are you gonna have to sort all this by team now?
Correct.
That's gonna go in there, or wherever it's supposed to go.
So we'll lay the cards out. So we'll lay these cards out right here. So it has every single team on it. You lay the team, the guys or whatever team it is on those, and when we're done, there's order numbers that we have on these sheets, so we know exactly who it goes to.
So right here, and this is public info too. So this is everybody in alphabetical order by buyer. So what happens is we'll say, all right, let's go. Japper has, I need Cubs, Rockies, Mariners, and we just, after it's sorted, just Cubs, Rockies, Mariners. We grab Japper's envelope, put Japper's cards in there, on to the next.
You organize a lot of packages, and now you're organizing all these cards. How long did it take you to learn this system and really get this going?
So this type of stuff for me is super simple because I know sports and all that stuff. So like sorting to me always was kind of easy just because it's super simple to just, what's the team on the card? Put it on that spot. It's as simple as that. It's really not as hard as it seems. This is probably the least fun you have when it comes to breaking and doing all that stuff. But I mean, at the same time, we're all just hanging out, sorting through baseball cards, and like that's all. That's all we do. We break, we sort, and we hang out.
Yeah.
We golf. Like that's all we do.
And the thing is when you're back here, and I will say this, and Corey knows this. When my dad is back here and he is shipping, we are not allowed to have music on. My dad also quit his job to work here.
Oh my god.
So that, but he worked a lot longer for the company. He like 26 years, I think. So he quit to come work with me in the shop and with this. So he's very rudimentary, like no music, no headphones, phones away. Nothing is messed up because of that, right?
Yeah.
So when Pops isn't here, turn the radio loud. We get the music going a little bit, and then we have some fun while we're sorting, because sorting is definitely not pretty. I mean, it's very monotonous, and I think that's where a lot of breakers get lost, because they think, we see Corey, we see Nick and Steve, we see you guys breaking. This looks fun. We can all do this. Go do a case break of Series 1 baseball and ship all cards, because we ship everything, and sort that whole case. Let me know how much fun you had.
I gotta say, this is the first kind of shop where we get to see like the breaking process, and 100%. I gotta say, for what it's worth, like, it's a lot to break, you guys are paying the fees, everything that goes into it. Yeah. I mean, you guys are making 100%. It happen. It's a lot of work to get this done. Like, 100%. I'm having a headache looking at all this.
Yeah. Money spent on packages to USPS, I think, was like $250,000 last year.
You talked about it earlier. The breaking obviously is kind of the bread and butter for you. The shop is kind of like more of an experience.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We'll get into that too.
All retired and or passed away running backs, Hall of Famers, every one of them.
Jim Brown. Tell me about your dad's role in this shop.
We just talked about it yesterday. Without him, we don't function. He comes in every day at 7 in the morning. If he doesn't have cardiac rehab, like we talked about earlier, but 7 in the morning, he's here with my brother sorting. They will sit down and sort before me and Corey get in, because me and Corey, we get a little bit of leeway. So it's not like me and Corey get in at 11:08. We get in at about 11 every morning, but it's not because, I don't want people to think it's because we're lazy or we get in at 11 because we're slacking. We're breaking until 2 in the morning. There's got to be you got to go home and get sleep, and then you've got to have some type of normalcy in there, right? Yeah. So we come in at 11, they're in at 7, so they have a 4-hour head start to do all the sorting. The important thing is that you need to have different personalities that work for a breaking company. You need to have people who like busy work. You need to have people who aren't afraid to take Tuesday night off of softball and Yep. And
I'm breaking tonight, baby.
He has a competitive softball. He does softball Tuesday nights, and he's breaking tonight. He's taking off softball. So you have to have people who are willing to sacrifice. I get a little crazy on Instagram streams. Like I can get loud. I can get boisterous. I can get a little loose at night. Nick, when I first hired Nick, not a lot of people even know this now, but Nick was my eBay guy when I first started. He just did eBay. Like, I wanted to introduce him slowly into sports cards. But that's like the transition, right? I start, all the guys who start with me start on eBay. They start learning parallels. They start learning numbered cards, years of cards, brands.
There's always the lead. Then there's like a second person that's kind of like more of, I'd say, your style. But then there's like him, who I think you probably see a little bit of yourself, and you take him under your wing.
Yep.
I've been seeing a lot of that, and then your father's roll into this. Like, he makes sure it doesn't mess up.
Nothing. I mean, he is very to the T and how we need to do things. And if we go off of that game plan, it is not a good day for us. And which, here's the thing. I am co-owner of the shop, but at the same time, and Corey knows this as well because he does it as well, you always need people on your team to check you. He checks me all the time. He checks me. My dad checks me all the time. Not with bad things, but like if I'm doing things that are like, we should probably do things this way. You need those people who can make you go a different way that benefits the company rather than just going off on a tangent and people who are scared to speak up.
Someone in the live said, "Hey Corey, what's your PC?"
His first break he ever did.
First break I ever did. What's your PC? So my thought process, because I don't collect cards, was, yeah, I have an Apple. I have a computer. I go, yeah, it's a MacBook. I got it right before I went to college, and everybody in the chat just starts crying emojis. And I'm sitting there going, like, what's so funny? Like, there's nothing that funny. I turn to Steve, and he goes, PC's personal collection. Yeah. And everybody lost it. I had no idea when I first started what a PC meant. I thought it was just a computer.
Hiring people to work for you that are very passionate about sports, but not sports cards, are the best workers ever.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that about him once he said he didn't PC somebody.
Ever. So I've
seen this in 5 shops.
Yep, and here's why. You know,
not on this tour though.
Yep, I've hired people who have PCs, who have great collections, who are great workers. But there is always a point of resistance in what should be in the showcases, how you sell things because they think they do it better, and then there's just a lot of headbutting.
Every business owner we've talked to has, some of them have problems of letting go of control. This is their baby. Yeah. They gotta make sure these are the guys. Yeah. So like, at what point did you know that these two guys could like really do some damage?
So I would say I micromanage a lot still. I would say that I do.
Look at that. Micro co-manage, a little Michael Scott saying there.
It's been rough. It's better. It's way better now, but it was rough.
Have you ever thought about teaching college kids how to sword and chip all this? Because I've seen that a lot too.
Okay, you want me to answer that first?
Yeah,
so this is crazy. I'm already talking to the local city school board for the middle school of doing a sports card club twice a month.
Love that.
So take cards in. Probably not hobby boxes because middle schoolers don't know the value of a Bowman 2022 box with Ellie in it. So like blasters, megas, fat packs, that kind of stuff. And then bringing it in twice a month, letting them rip it open. Could be for free. I don't know what the school wants to do. We have a meeting, I think, in like a month, like right before school starts. And then teaching them, hey, you have a good hit, sleeve, top loader, or if you have kids who love binders, because kids love binders. Putting their cards in binders by team, that's still a thing, which I didn't think was, but bring binders in, start everybody out with a binder, show them how to collect, sort by the team. Hey, this is an autograph card, what's it worth? How do you look up a comp? All that kind of stuff. So I've already got that in the works with the local school that's right down the street.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I am gonna do a plug. That idea came from Youngstown Sports Cards, my guy George. He's one of my best friends.
Okay.
So
Love
George, George, he does Youngstown Sports Cards. He does I think it's once a month over at their middle school over there, and he kills it with those kids. He teaching them what a parallel is compared to what a base rookie card is, because a lot of people don't know, like, rookie cards are numbered, right? But what's a parallel?
You have to hire one more person. What is that going to be? What's your next hire look like?
I need another breaker, but that breaker has to sacrifice weekends, and I think that is the difficult part with, I think Corey can say, with any breakers, weekends. You have to be, as a breaking company, primarily, we have the shop like we showed, but primarily as a braking company, you have to be live 7 days a week. So we're live on Instagram 6 days a week right now. Whatnot Maine isn't being utilized, and Nick has been killing the game on Whatnot too. So it's all about hiring people in, more product out. That's about it. I mean, and that the hard part with braking is realizing that you're not just a braker. That's fun. Coming in and sorting and doing the dirty work is also a part of the job.
Yeah, opening the car is literally the easiest part of the job.
Yeah.
People think it's so easy, but there's so much that goes into it.
Yep.
You gotta be personable. You gotta sort, ship, labeling. It's crazy the amount of stuff you have to do to really.
A lot of responsibilities. I know, I know there's some big braking companies out there where the breakers don't have to deal with that. They just come in, they brake, they leave.
This is your dad's corner?
Yeah, so this is my dad's little corner. So he does shipping over here from right here at this desk, and then this is all his like personal collection. So he's got signed Jim Kelly, Derek Jeter game used, 03 chrome set.
Of basketball?
Just sitting here. I don't think he put the LeBron in there. He has it in his special spot.
Yeah.
He hides the LeBron. But my dad keeps, like, and Corey knows this too, he keeps his special PC things just chilling over here. This is
your ball?
me, yeah.
Tell me about these.
So this is when I was in high school. I think one of these is my last game ever. Last high school game ever, 5 innings pitched, 7 Ks. I signed it for him and he kept it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think it says last game. And then this is, I was in the Northeast Ohio All-Star game for baseball.
Okay.
I went, there's an article written on the game. I started, so I got the win. They took me out, and then I went back in the 9th and got the save. He keeps a bunch of mementos and stuff from when I was a kid here. I love it.
And then he obviously has these of
Yeah. So he actually had my niece, his granddaughter came in and just painted a mural on the wall. It's not very often that you, as an 11-year-old, can come just paint whatever you want on a wall, right? So they're best friends. She made this Papa, that's his name. Her name's Havana, H-A-V. And just that made literally a nice little mural for him all over the place. And then this wall right here is another mural that my nephews made. All right, so the other big thing that we do is when we start shipping things out and we do breaks on Instagram, it's very similar to Whatnot. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but with Whatnot, they can kind of get away with breaks not being considered gambling, because when you purchase something on Whatnot, you have to ship something out as a seller. You have to. Every single purchase is accompanied by a shipping label, so you have to ship something out. With Instagram, same thing. So if anything is ever regulated in this industry, I made sure back in actually 2019 I started this. So before COVID, before the whole boom, I made sure that every single filler purchase, every brake purchase, you get something. Is that something glorious and phenomenal? Might not be. But every time somebody purchases something on my website, they get a free pack of cards. Football, anything.
Who puts these together?
This is when my niece, Havana, comes in. This is her busy work. So she comes in and, we pay her. She has a worker. She's allowed to work. She's 15 years old, and she comes in and she'll make football packs for us for hitless breaks, and she stacks them up over here. And this takes the gamble out of breaks. So a lot of people in the industry like that. The biggest thing people talk about is breaks are a gamble, breaks are a gamble. But they're not a gamble if you make a purchase and you receive a good for that purchase. Now you have a chance to not hit something that you purchased, but in the terms and conditions on our website, it says that if you make a purchase and you don't hit something, you still are guaranteed a good in return. So that's a really good way to make sure that breaks are not gambling, and that, for us at least, and then make sure that Shopify compliance is met at the same time.
If you guys think breaking is simply just opening packs, literally looking at madness here, even off camera, I was overwhelmed, and it's a lot more work than just opening packs.
It is definitely a lot more work than opening packs. That is for sure.
Boom. So if you guys want to break with them, hit them up. They're live on Whatnot, live on Instagram.
Yep.
We'll put their links down below.
Yep. Links down below for the website to buy into breaks. All right. So walking into the shop, I think the biggest thing that you're going to see, the best thing you're going to see is this giant mural that we have. It spans 80 feet down the sidewall of the shop, 20 feet up to the ceiling. Both sides of the shop have the mural, but this is the bread and butter. This is probably my favorite part of the shop. And we've got plenty of things here if you're a native Clevelander that you're gonna know. So this is my dad's favorite player of all time, Ray Fosse. He was the catcher that Pete Rose absolutely demolished in the All-Star game back in the day. That's my favorite, my dad's favorite Indians player. Of course, got Bernie, our old hockey team all the way up there, the Cleveland Lumberjacks. Best heavyweight fighter of all time, Stipe Miocic. And then, you know, it just goes down the line. So you've got LeBron's block, you've got Nick Chubb, you've got the 95 Indians.
You said this isn't just a card shop, this is an experience. What's something that you wanted people to feel here?
Yeah, so when you walk in here, I don't want this to be your run-of-the-mill card shop where you walk in, it's very small, it's tiny. I want there to be space. So that's what my main goal was making this shop. So we're talking, you know, like I said, it's 80 feet deep, it's extremely wide, spacious. All the tables in here are really spread out, right? So you don't feel like you're claustrophobic coming in here. You can spread out, you can be away from people if you want to be away from people. And you got to remember, we opened during COVID, so there were a lot of mandates. So we kind of use that to our advantage with making this giant space with these 10-foot tables and making it so welcoming to everybody who came through the doors.
All right, what is this right here?
All right, so this is my dad's idea. Not everything in a card shop needs to be $200, $300, $400, $500 when it comes to sealed wax. The roots of this hobby are really starting with old wax packs, right? This is where I got started when I was a kid. So you gotta make sure you don't eat the gum. So my dad had this great idea to kind of scour his basement, to be honest, and other card shops and getting old wax packs and just, you know, you can come in here, get a 92 PGA Tour cards pack, anything vintage, right? So 80s to 95s, that junk wax era that you want to come in here and really just grab a pack, rip it open with either you've got a 2-, 3-year-old who's just getting started that you don't want to spend tons of money on wax because they don't know the value. It's a great place for just, you know, anyone to come in, rip a really cheap pack and get their collection started.
So there's quarter boxes all over this thing.
Yeah.
And
so,
you said there's a deal on Sundays.
Yeah, so our best days for quarter and bargain bin shopping is Sundays. So these are all quarter bins, and we have every table, so we have quarter bins loaded up on this table, we've got quarter bins loaded up on this table, quarter bins loaded in the back. Now we have way more in the back of the shop that we don't bring out during the week, but on Sundays, these quarter bins turn into penny bins. Every single card's a penny. When my regulars come in, I literally will hand them an empty 4-row. And that 4-row, to fill that thing up, I believe it's only like $7 to fill an entire 4-row up of cards. So I'll give them a 4-row, they will fill it up with as many cards as they want. $7 for an entire 4-row when you come in and you just go through hunting for penny cards, and they're completing sets for $7. So.
All right, let's hear about supplies.
All right, so moving through the supplies, we noticed that like during COVID, supplies were extremely limited. My dad has a lot of connections in the supply chain management world, so we were actually able to manufacture our own supplies. So we actually make our own 35-point regular top loaders. We make our own sleeves. We make our own
You
PSA
make these
team bags.
yourselves?
We have a manufacturer overseas, makes them, private labels them for us, and sends them over. So we don't have to go through BCW, Pro Mold, or Cardboard Gold or anything like that. So
Were
we
you
have our own
doing this
manufacturer.
before or after the price when they started running out of supplies?
Before. So right before COVID is when we started, and our order came in right when like COVID was at its peak.
Wow.
So it really helped us out a ton because, and there was a point in time where supplies were all held up at, I think they were on the West Coast, like on container ships because they weren't allowed in because of COVID. We already had all of our supplies manufactured in our shop. So it was like a perfect storm for collectors to come in, and it's all private labeled to our company.
Why is it one of one sports cards?
So not many people know this, but I really got started in this hobby, revigorated back into this hobby in 2015 with my dad. But it wasn't until like 2017, early 2017, that me and my dad started like opening boxes together. We were actually in my garage, in my condo. First real hobby box I opened with my dad in my garage had a 1-of-1 Shield Joe Mixon autograph rookie card, 2017. So that card kind of just set everything for, as soon as we hit that card, we'd buy other boxes and that just starts everything back up again. Old feelings come back. The chase for bigger cards comes back. So that one card, which I actually still have to this day, which is in my basement, it's framed, which was the start of everything, was a 1/1 shield, Joe Mixon. And then me and my dad kind of just sat there and we just thought of, if we're gonna do it this company, what should it be? It's gotta be catchy and something that has longevity.
You have game used bats in your shop, and they're just hanging out.
Yep.
I mean, what are the notables? Are there any?
Okay, so there are no notables, but when you're on Instagram for so long, you meet a lot of different accounts, right? So I started to become friends with a lot of people on Instagram. I get to messaging like, hey, I put a couple notes out there in my story, like I'm looking for a cool design. I want to do some game used bats. I don't really want to pay an arm and a leg because I know game used bats can be really expensive. The equipment manager for a minor league team hit me up and said, hey, when we break all of our bats, we just throw them away. Do you want them? And I was like, sure. And he said, you just need to pay shipping. I didn't even think shipping was going to be expensive. So I was like, sure, why not? Sends me an invoice for shipping for 60 bats.
How much?
$400. FedEx ground.
Wow.
So.
And these are all the bats.
Yeah, there are no notable names, but they are all game used from different players. So if there's kids that come up that really like, oh, this bat looks really cool. Like I used to have like a really cool one on the end that a little kid would come in and like grab with his dad. And one day he came in and I was like, you can have it. Go ahead and take it home. Because I have 40 other ones to replace it with. I kind of got the idea when I was sitting there with my wife and she's watching a home makeover show. Someone was doing like something called like a shiplap wall. I was like, well, let's do that, but with baseball bats. That'd be pretty cool. So I got that idea in my head. I put a note out, like I said, on Instagram story. Had a guy hit me up. Got a bunch of bats and then hung them all up.
Right, Steve, so you're doing it way differently on these showcases. Kind of give me an example here. Start showing me like what's your showcase?
Okay, so like Jay just said, I do this a lot differently than a lot of other card shops. So everything in my showcase, nothing is expensive. I don't try to put everything that's over $100 to $300. Whenever people come into the shop, I want it to be more of an experience of, hey, when you walk in, a lot of kids want to buy things out of a showcase. Not a lot of kids have $20 to $30, but a lot of kids have $1 to $5. And the coolest thing about this hobby is being able to go to a showcase and pulling a card out of a showcase and not a dollar bin. I don't have a price tag on it, but Kyle Hamilton, Rookies and Stars, red foil. I'll put it in there for $3, and then I give whoever comes in, this young collector, a lot of room to negotiate. And I actually preach negotiation when they do come in, which I don't know if a lot of other card shops do, because a lot of other card shops, the price on the card is the price that they want to sell it at. We'll pull out this card right here. This is a $10 Trevor Lawrence collegiate card. Everybody who's watching this right now knows this isn't $10. What I want is for somebody to come in and I want to teach them that this is not a $10 card. So if I have 10 on here, I want this young collector to offer me $5, and then negotiation starts. There aren't many 7 to 10-year-olds that will negotiate, but if I can teach them to negotiate because they think that this card might be a little overpriced, that's where I'm at in the hobby, right? So 7, 5, 4, and again, everyone who comes in here knows that these aren't $7, $5, $4 cards. But if they come in once and know that it's okay to negotiate off of $7, $5, and $4, they'll come in and they'll say, hey, would you take 3 for this card? Well, then my job is done, because that person, that child, that new collector knows that they can negotiate for anything in any of these showcases. I mean, that's including $115 Jordan StarQuest PSA 10. So if they want to negotiate off of that, they had a lot of allowance money, they can now do that, and they know how to do it. The main thing about growing as a collector is being in those not okay situations and learning from it, so the next time you are in that situation, you feel okay about what you're about to try to accomplish.
All right, so we got baseball.
Yeah, baseball, I'll tell you what sells really well is a lot of Julio sells really well this year. Wander Franco sells really well this year. And again, we're keeping cards from $10 to $30. And the cool thing is about keeping cards at these prices is that we cycle through a lot every weekend. A lot. Now I'm saying we have 50 cards on the top showcase. Every single weekend, this will turn over at least once. We have backstock underneath. So it's $10 cards, it's $15 cards, $20 cards. And at this point in the industry, in the hobby, that's bread and butter for a lot of different collectors, because taking the risk on a $100 to $200 to $300 card sometimes scares people away from the hobby. And we're not in that COVID collecting anymore, right? So the bread and butter for a lot of these guys is $10, $20, $30 cards that they can watch grow.
How are you guys doing with wax? How's it going there?
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna ring the same here. I can complain all day about wax and distribution and everything, but it's how are you going to make what you have work for your customers, right? So we have a fair mix of hobby and a fair mix of retail, and kind of in the middle. So, I mean, we've got a baseball section here with mega boxes, hobby boxes, blasters, hobby, jumbo hobby, and then when we move into football, $3 packs of rookies and stars, but next to a $300 box of contenders football, right? Then when you come down towards the end, $20 boxes of Chronicles football. So it's really, you have to have everything in every single price category for every single type of collector. And what we try to do is, if you'll notice, is that we have box price and pack price for everything. You have to have box and pack prices, because not too many people are coming in here buying up, boxes of selected 800, 750 bucks. But you will have a couple people here and there that are buying packs of it, chasing that RPA or the rookie auto.
All right, so talk to me about, you guys obviously break a lot,
Yeah.
and we talked about breaking, all that stuff. I mean, how many people are coming in here and just ripping a box versus breaking with you online?
Yeah, so that, I think, is where my shop is a lot different than I would say the majority of shops, right? So because we break so much online, I give out probably the best deals definitely in this area, if not the greater part of Northeastern Ohio, because this shop relies on breaks. So that's why when I say that the shop is an experience, this is an experience for, as a collector, to come in here, grab a box at a cheap price, that maybe the cheapest price that they're gonna find, and go have fun with it. Because we don't have, and this is me being completely honest, the profit margins in the shop, really, they're not high, right? Because this was built on breaks. So our profits on breaks really power everything, which allows us to be very price conscious over in the shop. So two different things. My dad is kind of he is the yin and my yang, right? Like, he levels me out severely. In my mind, I am very, very, very business first. So in my head, opening a shop up meant allocation, which meant loading product up for breaks at a cheaper price and then making more profit. But then you've got, at the same time, my dad in the back end, and also everybody who works with me, saying, Steve, that's great too, but you know what that means is you can take, a half case for breaks, and you can really sell it, the rest of it, really cheap for your guys in the shop, which is what we do. So we'll take a half of a case for breaks, and then the other half goes into the shop at a very, very discounted price, because we're making all of our money back on when it comes to breaking anyways. So if you're not really hammering down prices on wax, especially in today's age, right? When it comes to where we're at in the hobby, I feel like you're gonna get stuck at some point. And this is just my opinion. You're gonna get stuck at some point with high price wax, and it's just not gonna move. It's gonna slow down a lot. So I think being very, very price conscious for your collectors is huge.
So Steve, this is an absolute social hangout spot.
Yep.
You talked about experience. We just had a trade night here. I mean, this is huge. Was
Yeah.
that your game plan? Because you said this used to be a karate studio with a ceiling that was like probably to my head.
Yeah, it was like a 7-foot ceiling. So that was definitely the goal. So when I made this shop, I wanted to be different than every other shop that's around me, right? So there's a shop north of me, there's a shop south of me, there's plenty of shops east of me. They're all your cookie cutter card shop. Small, you go in, you know what you want, you get it, you leave, right? Well, I want to be different, so what I do is I made a shop that's 3,000 square feet, that has 4 10-foot tables, that has collecting in the back for you to come sit down, and a giant mural, right? Couch with Connect 4, and all this kind of stuff. But the reason why I did that is because no other shop around me has that. Everybody is so oriented towards, you're coming into the shop, you're getting a box, you check out, you leave. Well, I want to have birthdays, right? So I have birthday parties here. We have trade nights, at least once a month we have trade nights. The birthday parties are probably the more fun part about having the shop, because you'll have collectors coming in. We put their name up on the TV. We give them free packs. We order pizza for them, and they literally, these kids after close run the shop. I know it could be more expensive, but go bigger, because you can always close things off in a bigger shop to make it smaller. Once you have a small shop and you're stuck, there is no getting bigger. There just really isn't. So, like, there are spaces in my shop. Like if you look over here, there are spaces in the shop that I can close off to not let people back here, and we can make the shop feel smaller and feel more intimate, right? We would have the athlete here, walking in from the door over there, walk all the way up here, line out the door, athlete, and then snake their way out. And it's the perfect setup. So whenever you're making a shop or whenever you're redesigning a shop, make sure you have things that you might do, not things that you will do, but things you might do in mind when you're designing your shop, because you never know where you're gonna take it to the next level, or when you're gonna do that.
This helmet went viral. I've seen this. I reposted it.
Yeah.
This was a big deal. This is on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
And
SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, all of it. So when Cleveland beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs, Pittsburgh players had been mocking Cleveland players for years, since, forever. We beat them 48-37. It was a trouncing. We had a Kareem Hunt signing 3 days after the game, and he inscribed this helmet, and it's gorgeous. This is one of my prized things from the signing that he did. This thing is awesome. It went viral. It's great. I could never see it leaving the PC, leaving the collection. And then if you look up here, I've got a personalized helmet from Jim Brown. Personalized helmet from Bernie Kosar and Kevin Mack. We've got the Wall of Fame, so this is like every athlete that's come in, most of them. Cardale Jones, he comes in, used to come in like once a month when he was up in Cleveland visiting family. Cardale Jones, Demetric Felton, Tristan Thompson.
Oh, that's sick.
Yep. Greg Rousseau for the Bills. Hollywood Higgins, Kevin Mack. Like I said, bigger shop, empty spaces. You never know what you're gonna do with it, but a year in, we made a Wall of Fame and we had players sign it. So that rings true to what we said prior.
You're gonna tell us about a card shop.
Yeah.
Would you say he inspired you? Or?
Yeah, he inspired me to do pretty much everything here. He's such a nice guy. Like, everybody has like their guy who he kind of mentored. He mentored me without knowing he was mentoring me, right? So I would literally fill breaks on Instagram and tell people, true story, that I was using the restroom. I would end the live video. I'd fill a break, end the live video, run to his shop, go get my boxes, and run home and do the break.
And they didn't know that they didn't know you didn't have the boxes.
No.
That's amazing. Does this guy know this story?
Yeah, he knows. Bill's a phenomenal guy.
So when you ran in there, he knew you were doing breaks?
I would call him up. I'd be like, hey, I need this, and he'd hand me the boxes, and I'd literally pay for them. Because, like, what a lot of people don't know is no one ever gave me money to start One of One. It was just me. Like, I got paid, I think at my job when I first started this, I was getting paid $15 an hour, and I had no money to buy boxes. So I would fill the break first, tell people I had to go use the restroom, get the money in for the break, end the live video, go buy the boxes, run back home, all in 10, 15 minutes, and then run the break.
Is there anything that you incorporated from those old school shops that you grew up in into this thing, you think? Or did you just want to try something new?
No, so I would say as you guys know, like 90% of this is all new. But I would say the 10% that I'm getting back to the roots are for sure switching my showcases from expensive cards to the dollar cards. There aren't a lot of old shops that, number one, have showcases, but if you do go like into older shops, like even at Medina Sports Cards, he'll have a showcases that just have $1 to $5 cards. So I copied that off of him for sure. It's kind of just like when it comes to shops, it's talking to shops and then just reusing what works for you, right? That's like what a lot of it is, and you putting your spin on what somebody else does, which is completely fair to do, in my opinion, because in this hobby, if you're not helping each other out, then what are you doing?
If you ever were in Strongsville, Ohio,
yes,
you got to come to One of One Card Shop. We got a big national in 2024 in Ohio, so they can come hang out here. You're going to do a ton of events all that week.
Oh, yeah.
But if they want to come here, what's the address?
It is 13221 Prospect Road, Strongsville, Ohio. 10 minutes south of the airport and 10 minutes south of the IX Center where the National is going to be.
And what are your hours and days?
So we are open Wednesday through Sunday, Wednesday through Friday, we are open 3 to 6. Saturday, we are open 11 to 6. Sunday, 11 to 6.
And if they want to break with you and follow you on Whatnot Instagram, plug yourself.
All right, so easy. Instagram's just One of One Card Shop. The website is www.oneofonecardshop.com. Whatnot is One of One Card Shop. Everything else is One of One Card Shop.
Boom.